Well, hello, fantasy friends. I'm USA Today's Christian DeAndre. He is a Rhode Island scumbag, Mike Yaj Boyajin, and welcome to Ladders. Well, not quite Ladders yet, but a fantasy breakdown, a fantasy football preview. Now, Yaj and I are both in the same league, the Rhode Island Scumbag League, and we're here to step on each other's toes and talk about the guys we are willing to reach for. Yes, these are the 6 players we're willing to draft above ADP, average draft position. Now, we did the ADP via half PPR. I know there are people out there that don't do PPR, Yash. I know there are people that do half PPR. They want their fantasy box scores to look like a Big Ten basketball game from the 2000s. And while I don't respect it, I do understand it. Yeah. We're a PPR league, so our opinions might be a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Let's dive right in. I'm going to lead us off. The guy I'm drafting above ADP, the first guy, Zay Flowers. Yes, I am a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, Yaj. And this is a guy going off right now, 38th overall on average. Look at the Ravens around him.
Yeah.
It's a mess. You know, Isaiah Likely, not there. Rashad Bateman, already hurt. And he's been further outside the circle of trust than ever. They're going back to the well. They're going to get a lot of mid-draft guys to fill roles. And look, it didn't work with Tylan Wallace, didn't work with Miles Boykin. Maybe Jacoby Lane can keep up this preseason performance, but I'm skeptical. And then Mark Andrews looks incredibly washed. Don't understand the contract situation there, why they would extend him coming off his least efficient season. But fact remains, Lamar Jackson's going to have to throw to someone. It's going to be Zay Flowers. He's going as an early 4th rounder right now. I see him as an early 3rd, maybe even late 2nd. Yaj, who you got?
All right, my first pickup is going to be Christian Watson of the Green Bay Packers. Past couple seasons, he's kind of been in a targets crunch with the various wide receivers in the Green Bay offense. We just saw the departures of both Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks, which should open up the room a lot more for Christian Watson and his running mate, Matthew Golden. The great thing about Watson, he averaged around 11.5 points per game in half PPR, and that was good for about wide receiver 17 during that stretch. And again, he was coming back from injury, so I think that the leash is completely off him this year. He's good to go in a more condensed style offense, and again, he had he averaged a touchdown every 6 catches last season. Now he's a bona fide wide receiver 1. I would say the biggest thing you have to worry about with him is Tucker Kraft possibly cutting into targets. But ultimately, I'm really happy to take a guy at around wide receiver 30 price that's putting up wide receiver 15 numbers. So my first guy off the list is going to be Christian Watson of the Packers.
I mean, good luck to you when he inevitably gets placed on IR with a soft tissue injury. Feels inevitable. But, I like the pickup there. Huge potential. And, we do know that the Packers don't have a ton of targets anymore. And this competition right now is a guy like Golden, who struggled last year, and Jaden Reed, who is pretty good, but maybe not a wide receiver 1. All right, I'm going to go to my second guy now, Yash. Parker Washington of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Yash,
I like that pick.
If I were just throwing out some numbers to you, 80 catches, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, where would you draft that guy?
I would say by round 5, I'm looking for him.
Yeah, but well before that for me. And yet Parker Washington going off 71st right now. End of the 6th round. Anyway, this is a Jaguars offense that really thrived once Jacoby Myers came in and unlocked everything. Now you could be like, oh, there's a lot of cooks in that kitchen. There are, but Travis Hunter not going to be playing a ton on offense this year per former high school legend of Rhode Island, Liam Cohen, now their head coach. And this is a guy that even in that crowded receiving room last year with Myers, with the broken Brian Thomas Jr., he still managed a 30% target rate. He is 1.7 yards after catch over expected per reception, was a top 10 figure. This guy has the chops to keep this up. It's not just a late season fluke. He is a good receiver who can continue to do good things and even give you wide receiver 2 production way at the end of the 5th round, early 6th round. Hell yeah, go get you some Parker Washington. Yash, pick number 2. Who are you taking above their ADP?
All right, it's going to be a late round running back for me, mid-late round. Jordan Mason, Minnesota Vikings, baby. He's going around the 108th overall pick. Last season, we got a glimpse of what he could be for the Vikings. Unfortunately, they had absolutely horrific quarterback play, and the defense and running game just could not save them, unfortunately. Still, Mason averaged about 4.8 yards per carry, and he finished with over 750 rushing yards and 6 tutties and just under 160 touches. All right, so he's clearly this year's Vikings preferred early down back, and he's ranked near the top of the league for explosive run rate, missed tackle rate, and yak. So all great things you want to see in a starting running back. 2026 situation is, slightly better. I'm not as huge of a fan of Kyler Murray as a lot of people are. He's just burned owners way too many times.
Yes.
Still not sure if football is his passion. I don't know. I just get a bad vibe off that. But either way, that should lighten the load for the running backs. And they also brought in Frank Smith. I think it's a very underrated move by them. He helped coordinate running game in both Miami and San Francisco in the past. Two teams that really know how to run the ball. And I love the San Francisco piece because Jordan Mason was one of the running backs when he was working with the 49ers. So he knows what this guy can do in the offense. Camp reports have been glowing. All signs point to Mason vastly outplaying his ADP of RB39. So I think that's league-winning potential, people, if you're grabbing the Travis Etienne or Achan, however he wants to be referred to, in 2026.
Yes, absolutely. Thoroughly agree there. Mason's big competition's Aaron Jones, great locker room guy, but in his 30s, winding down a little bit. Going to give you a lot of good, solid production out of the backfield. Going to have a little bit more of a receiving role. Absolutely love the Jordan Mason pick there. Looking forward to stealing him from you at the top of the 6th round when our scumbag draft starts.
Great.
But let's talk about the guy I'm going to pick at the very tail end of this draft because he's a deep sleeper, not even on the Fantasy Pros ADP list. My third guy I'm drafting over ADP, Trevor Etienne. Yes, the Carolina Panthers RB3, maybe moving up to RB2 when Chuba Hubbard's already hurt. But look at the guys ahead of him. Chuba Hubbard already hurt, coming off his least effective season as a pro. Yeah. Jonathan Brooks, 2 NFL seasons. He's appeared in 3 games. I think he has 1 carry in his NFL career. It's not a ton, no matter what. 2 unreliable guys ahead of him. And this is a guy who, in very limited touches last year, Yaj, shined. He gave you 5.6 yards per carry over his college career, which happened at some very high-level Power 4 conferences. He averaged 1.3 rush yards over expected per carry as a rookie. Again, tiny sample size, but the talent is there. He gave you some chops out of the backfield as a receiver. If you're looking for a late-round sleeper in a league that running backs fly off the shelves early, Trevor Etienne is probably going to get an opportunity in Carolina. Even if he's a stash pick, I think he's going to work his way into a larger role there. If there's a bye week, he might be the guy who saves you, who bails you out, and you can get him maybe round 14, round 15 right now.
Not bad at
hit me
all.
with your deep sleeper ADP pick.
All right. My deep sleeper double-digit round draft pick is an oldie but a goodie. It's our boy Deebo Samuel, who is reunited with the San Francisco 49ers, currently going at 133rd overall, according to Fantasy Pros. It's easy to forget all about Deebo's scorching start to 2025. Everyone forgets this guy was averaging a top 10 finish 3 of the first 4 weeks that Washington played. Unfortunately, that included 1 down week and a bye in week 4. Yeah. So that was kind of one of those super early buys. However, half PPR finishes: week 1, 19.1, week 2, 13.9, week 5, 19.6, and that's half PPR, not full. Injury bug took him down after week 5, and seemingly the rest of the Washington offense as well. But the first 5 weeks were a real bright spot for Deebo with his new team. All right, so why am I going back to him in 2026? Situation's improved. He's heading back to a familiar scheme and role with San Francisco. He looks to jump right back into his old role as that hybrid wide receiver running back that Kyle Shanahan likes to use him in. This year, they definitely need to help alleviate some of Christian McCaffrey's touches. So that bodes well for Samuel with his bread and butter, which is those QB dump-offs and jet sweeps. 49ers already given the Walking Dead vibes. Seems like pretty much everybody is already injured for the 49ers. Surprise, surprise. So I don't mind making a play for a wide receiver 3 when he's practically free in these double-digit rounds. So to round that one out, give me Deebo Samuel late.
Yeah, probably a guy whose ADP is going to climb, especially when you wind up in fantasy leagues with people who haven't been paying attention or like, I recognize that name. He's around in round 10. But like you said, Yash, the Niners are already a disheveled mess. Someone's going to have to step up for them. Why wouldn't it be Deebo, who, like you mentioned, is aging well, is playing well? Yeah, he's probably going to get hurt a little bit. He's going to get dinged up. The substation already got its eyes on him. But, man, if you can get Deebo Samuel round 12, hell yeah.
I'll take it.